Hey guys, in this video I'm going to talk about how to use Google Docs for writing lab reports, especially the things that it seems like, generally speaking, juniors in high school don't know how to do in Google Docs. So first thing that comes up all the time, because we have equations where it's like, oh, I don't know, delta x equals 1/2 at squared, or v squared equals v naught squared plus 2a delta x, those kinds of things. V squared. All right, now some people will use this, and then they're like, yeah, so this is probably fine. Oh no. And I think you can already appreciate that this right here is bad, and now I get to delta, and I just absolutely panic, right? Okay, none of that's going to work, right? It doesn't look good. There's a simple way to do it. You hit, if you're on a Mac, Command, period. That's it. Oh, back and forth. Command, period. Okay, and if you did want a subscript, like, say, for this not right here, then that's Command, comma. All right, now once again, Command, period. I don't know what the hotkeys are if you're on a PC, so I apologize right there. Some of you have PCs, and I don't know what it is, but you can find out. If you hit Format here, you're trying to format text. Oh my goodness. It has all the things that you might want to do to format text. Make it bold. Okay. Oh, and there it is. Superscript, subscript, or whatever else it is that you may want to do. All right. Now at this point, that brings us to, what do I do about the delta x? Oh no, I don't even know how to do Greek letters or symbols. Okay. Now calm down. We go to Insert. And now there's a bunch of different things under here that you can insert, but down here we have special characters. Now there are a lot of symbols in here, and scrolling down, I immediately begin to feel overwhelmed. And in fact, I don't even, maybe I just missed it, but I don't even see the delta in there. So what am I supposed to do? Oh wait, over here, draw a symbol here. Oh, really? Will this work? Just delta looks like a triangle. And oh my goodness, so many suggestions, such as the Greek capital letter delta. All right, there. And it inserted it for me. Okay, other symbols that you might need to insert at some point would be like, say, theta. Oh, look at that. There's theta. We also have, oh golly, what's the other one? Phi. There it is. There's a Greek letter phi, right? Lambda. I don't use lambda that much in physics, but you would have maybe used it in chemistry or something. There we are. Whatever Greek letter you need, or really any other symbol, you can find it here. Like, let's suppose that you want an arrow. There it is. You have arrows. All right, so as far as symbols goes, you don't need to navigate through the insanely long list of symbols. You can find them using the Insert Special Characters menu. Okay, and so I'm done with superscripts and subscripts and Greek letters. Oh, let me see. I'll just use that wonderful format menu and strike through. Oh, so satisfying. Okay, now, next major thing that comes up all the time, photos. iPads aren't, frankly, as good at allowing you to resize and crop photos in Google Docs. So some of what I'm saying here is most relevant if you're, say, on a PC or Mac. However, if you're like, well, no one knows how to do that. False. Just Google it. How to resize a photo in Google Docs, iPad. Here are directions, and it tells me what to do. And I have verified that, yeah, more or less this works, right? If you tap on the image, assuming that you've done certain things to your settings, you should be able to change the size of an image or rotate it. And now if I want to know how to crop it so that it's not like, got all this like junk on the sides, okay, like there's more information. Oh, crop and adjust images. So it looks like it tells me everything that I want to know, right? Crop, is this the same page? It's the same page. Cropping and adjusting are apparently both covered and I didn't notice it. All right, so back to what we're doing though. Let me, I don't know, insert a photo. All right, don't worry where I got it from. I'm pretty sure that you guys know how to at least insert a photo. Well, that photo is enormous, just tremendously large. And the font size I'm using here is already 20, so this is like, I don't know, size 45 font. That's like just stupidly big. I probably want to make this photo smaller. All right, if I drag at the corner, it will resize it without changing the aspect ratio. If you're using these, then you squish it, and then it might end up looking kind of dorky. But, you know, drag the corners, and that should work just fine. This image, though, is terrible for a couple of reasons. One is there's all this stuff around it. I can fix that, however, with the crop tool. All right. Now, apparently it's different on iPad, and for that I apologize. But you can figure it out because Google exists. All right, and there, wonderful. It is now cropped. You know, really, I could actually crop that even better, though, because, like, why do I have all that space above and below it? Let's fix it. There we go. There, that looks much better. All right, now, we said that image, though, is bad because notice, if I tried to, say, print this, I've got all this, like, grayscale in the background, right? It's weird, but when you take a regular photo of paper, like, you know that the paper is white, but it never shows up that way. So instead, whoa, that didn't paste in the way I wanted to. Instead, I'm going to paste in an image that I scanned. And I scanned that using the Dropbox app, as we've discussed before. And once again, I can, you know, resize it by dragging the corners. Now, if for some reason you are wanting to make it be a very specific size, go to Format, go down to Image. All right, there are other options here, like there's Crop again, and Image Options lets you do a bunch of things. I can make it be a very specific width. I don't know if I want it to be, how about 1? Oh, that might be a little too small. 1.5? All right, that's looking pretty good. Okay, or I could scale it as a % of the original. If for some reason you don't want it to scale proportionately, you would uncheck that box, and then you can make it really wide, like really wide. But if you tell it, you know, lock aspect ratio, then it'll scale it by the same proportion. If you needed to rotate it, which I can't see why you would want to do that, but hypothetically, if you wanted to rotate something, that's where that is. I don't imagine most of us are going to need to mess with the text wrapping options or some of the other things in here, but if you need to, like, look through the image options menu, right? There is a lot of stuff in there that you can mess with if you feel the need. All right, pasting in graphs from sheets. There's a right way to do this, and there is a wrong way to do this. One way of doing it gives me a basically unreadable graph, and the other way works just fine. So here we are, a convenient graph. If I hit Copy Chart, which that's what most people do, copy, now it's in the clipboard, right? Go over here and we hit Paste. Paste unlinked, that's probably fine. The idea of linked to spreadsheet would be that if you, say, went back and made a change to your data, it would update the graph in this document. I'm just going to paste unlinked because I don't want it to, like, disappear if I delete the file or something. Okay, all right, there it is. It pasted it in. Notice it's really wide and the numbers are quite small. And if there were text here on the sides, because I didn't finish formatting it, but if, you know, there were things on the sides like position, meters, that text would be so small as to be completely illegible. Copy chart is the wrong way to do it. It seems like the most obvious way, but that's actually wrong. Instead, you want to hit download chart. I don't really care how you download it, but ping image works just fine. And then once you've got your ping, you can open up the ping and paste it in. And notice how the proportions here are so much better. I can actually read what those numbers are. It pasted in like a little small. This isn't going to be the half page that I suggested you ought to use. So, oh my gosh, look at that. I can resize the image, no trouble at all. And now it's going to be the half-page requirement for this class. All right. So again, if you are putting any images in, typically hit download chart. Copy chart seems easier, but the proportions are way worse. Right, just so you can see those quotes side by side, right? Bad, good. Okay, next major topic, in my opinion, is using tables to organize your space. So let's say you wanted to have text in 2 columns. Actually, using columns is not, in my opinion, a great way to do that. I think it's much better instead to insert a table. The reason is because it's much more versatile. You can organize it any way you want. Now, those of you who are familiar with columns might say, well, you can resize your columns. Yes, that's true. You can resize your columns, but you have more options for how you want to organize it, and it's way more intuitive with tables. And also the formatting with columns can get really, really screwy because the computer doesn't always know where to stop doing columns, right? If you transition from I want 1 block of text to 2, the columns is, it can get really wonky and poorly organized. All right, so organizing things as a table. If you wanted to put, I'm just going to use, say, like this, I don't know, I want to put an image in there. All right, there we go. I found a good image from the internet of a thing, all right? If I want to then put text in describing this image, right? Then there we go. I can, resize this box that will contain the image as I want, and then I can type in something here like this, whatever I'm going to type. All right, there's some text, whatever, and I could resize things, redistribute as I desire, make this smaller, right? Okay, fine, whatever I'm going to do. And everything will, stay in roughly where I put it in the first place. When I print this out, the unfortunate thing would be that it would show these lines, but, there's a way around that. You can turn those lines off. So if I highlight my table and I poke here, I can do things like make the borders dashed. Change how thick the borders are. If I set it to 0, they are gone. They are now invisible, which is maybe unfortunate. I could also say, like, set the border color to white or something like that, some other way of making them appear to no longer be there. And if you want, you can also, like, fill in a background color or something like that. There are other ways of dealing with this, and frankly, to me, it looks like Microsoft Word does a better job of dealing with tables, but this is perfectly functional. And if you decide afterwards, oh wait, no, I think I want lines on my table, you can add them back in. All you got to do is highlight the table and change the line thickness. There you are. All right, last thing is margins and line spacing. I frankly prefer narrow margins to conserve paper. That's under page setup. Narrow margins would be 0.5 inches. The default often appears to be 1 inch. Change it to 0.5. Save yourself some paper. And line spacing is where you're switching from like single to double. That's under format and lines and paragraph spacing.